and the village's board of trustees after multiple members did not attend tonight's meeting.
I'm about to address some things as supervisor. There will be no comments. There will be anything that is beneath.
Dalton residents, once hopeful that Henyard's leadership would bring positive change, now find themselves grappling with the fallout from her increasingly erratic behavior. The town remains mired in financial and administrative turmoil, with allegations of misuse of taxpayer funds, ongoing legal challenges, and now explosive leaks from within her own camp. Scandal follows Henyard at every turn. Her actions reflect those of a leader in freefall, desperately trying to shore up support through increasingly dramatic and controversial decisions. Yet these moves are overshadowed by the growing legal dull and public discontent that threatens to bring her reign to an abrupt end. Whether she can survive the mounting pressure or if Dalton's residents will demand change remains to be seen. However, one thing is clear: her once solid grasp on power is slipping fast. Henyard's once formidable authority continues to crumble under the weight of scandals, questionable decisions, and internal betrayals. Her desperate attempts to maintain control are raising more concerns than support. Her efforts to push through last-minute appointments to consolidate power have only added to the turmoil, with these decisions now declared invalid by interim Mayor Jason House, further weakening her fragile position. House was blunt in his assessment, stating that the lack of a quorum at the meeting meant that all actions taken were illegal, regardless of Henyard's insistence. Despite this, Henyard has doubled down, accusing her critics of manufacturing drama and even alleging that some audience members at meetings were planted to disrupt proceedings. However, the cracks in her control are undeniable. Her inner circle continues to shrink, and former allies, such as Keith Freeman, are now entangled in the unraveling of her administration. Freeman, once a trusted confidant and village administrator, is now embroiled in controversy and legal peril. Their relationship soured as rumors surfaced that Freeman might be cooperating with the FBI. At one point, Henyard allegedly attempted to fire Freeman after suspecting he was turning against her, sparking a dramatic fallout between the two. This betrayal was compounded by Freeman's own legal troubles, including allegations of unlawfully retaliating against employees who refused to support Henyard. Additionally, Freeman faces a federal indictment for bankruptcy fraud, accused of concealing assets and misrepresenting his income. Despite their history of bending the rules together, Henyard wasted no time in distancing herself from Freeman, attempting to sever ties before their association could further tarnish her already precarious reputation. However, Freeman's legal troubles have become a lightning rod for criticism, bringing even more scrutiny to Henyard's administration. Even when Henyard attempted to remove Freeman from his township role, the Board of Trustees resisted. Trustee Chris Gonzalez pointed out that no official documentation had been presented regarding Freeman's firing or promotion, making any such action unlawful. Gonzalez emphasized that any legitimate personnel changes required board approval, further exposing the disorder and overreach within Henyard's administration. Freeman's downfall, rather than diverting attention away from Henyard, has only reinforced the public perception of a leadership plagued by controversy and self-preservation. As federal investigators close in, Henyard's fragile hold on power continues to unravel. Her actions appear increasingly driven by desperation and denial. Her attempts to reshuffle her administration and tighten control have only backfired, further exacerbating Dalton's volatile political climate. In distancing herself from Freeman, Henyard likely hoped to avoid scrutiny over their connection. However, her failure to secure the backing of the Board of Trustees or maintain the loyalty of her closest allies has left her looking vulnerable and disorganized. Rather than shielding her, Freeman's legal woes have only intensified the public's distrust in her leadership. As Dalton faces an uncertain future, its residents are left grappling with the fallout of an administration plagued by infighting, scandal, and corruption. Henyard, once a figure of authority, now stands increasingly isolated as legal and political pressures mount. With allies like Freeman tarnished by scandal and internal dissent threatening to fracture her remaining support, Henyard's efforts to weather the storm appear increasingly futile. The question remains, can she survive this latest wave of challenges, or will her troubled tenure soon reach its inevitable conclusion? Tiffany Henyard's world is unraveling, and this time, it's not just rumors or whispers behind closed doors. Explosive footage, allegedly leaked by her own team, has plunged her already embattled political career into deeper turmoil. The video has fueled speculation that Henyard's closest allies are turning against her, leaving her in a state of panic. Whether this is karma or a calculated attempt to dethrone her, one thing is certain: her days of acting invincible are numbered. Once the self-proclaimed Queen of Dalton, Henyard's grip on power has become a controversial spectacle, with scandals following her at every turn. True to form, she recently escalated the crisis with actions that seem designed to provoke criticism rather than defuse tensions. After a Board of Trustees meeting was cancelled due to a lack of attendance, Henyard pushed forward with critical decisions that blindsided the town. In the absence of the trustees, she brazenly appointed a new village administrator and attorney, moves many saw as an attempt to sidestep opposition and secure her dwindling power. This defiant, some would say reckless, approach to leadership has raised eyebrows across the community. Henyard's once ironclad hold on Dalton appears to be weakening by the day. The fallout from her actions was swift. The Illinois Attorney General's office condemned Dalton for violating the Open Meetings Act multiple times in June and July and announced an investigation into Henyard's administration. Local residents have become increasingly vocal in their frustrations, accusing Henyard of running the village like a high-security fortress. Public meetings are now held behind locked doors, leaving many in Dalton feeling excluded from the very processes meant to represent them. Henyard has justified these drastic security measures by citing a sarcastic letter sent to her mother's home, written in blue marker, calling them both losers. While the letter was mean-spirited and unprofessional, it hardly constituted a credible threat. Nevertheless, Henyard and her administration used it as justification for increasing security around Village Hall, leading some to believe these measures are more about maintaining control than ensuring safety. Critics argue that Henyard's emphasis on security is merely a thinly veiled attempt to conceal her increasing paranoia and desperation. As Dalton's administration spirals further into chaos, residents are growing increasingly frustrated with her leadership. Attendance at public meetings has dwindled, with fewer than 20 people showing up for what Henyard promoted as major announcements. This lack of public interest reflects the growing fatigue with her antics, as many feel she prioritizes spectacle over substantive governance. Yet, instead of stepping back and reassessing, Henyard seems intent on diving deeper into the drama. Her latest controversial move, appointing a new village administrator and attorney, appears less about solving Dalton's problems and more about consolidating her power. Many believe these appointments are part of a broader strategy to replace any opposition with loyalists who will protect her shaky regime. The appointment of Keith Freeman, a key figure in her administration, has raised particular concern. Once, Henyard's right-hand man, Freeman, is rumored to know all of her secrets and is believed to have been brought back to shield her from mounting legal and political pressure. However, his return has only added to the controversy surrounding her leadership. Henyard's reshuffling of her inner circle may be an attempt to deal herself a new hand, but critics see it as nothing more than a desperate bid to cling to power. As her support erodes and the walls close in, her situation becomes even more bizarre due to her unrelenting defiance. Despite the Attorney General's office condemning Dalton for blatant violations of transparency laws, Henyard has doubled down on her controversial governance style. Rather than adopting a more cautious approach, she continues to alienate the public, embracing a leadership style that leaves little room for collaboration or trust.